What's going on, everybody? We've got a full Monday MLB board, and this is the kind of slate where the best angle is not chasing the flashiest team, but identifying which clubs are actually in the better spot right now. Some teams are carrying momentum, some are stuck in bad stretches, and a few matchups are shaping up in a way that makes the betting side a lot clearer than the record might suggest. So let's get right into it and break down the games one by one. First up, Philadelphia heading to Kansas City. The Phillies are coming into this one with a strong season overall, sitting well above .500 and still very much in the mix in their division. That matters because this is a team that has shown enough quality to stay relevant even when the offense goes through some uneven stretches. They also just got the job done in a big way in this series earlier, which gives them a little more confidence heading into this matchup. What stands out most for Philadelphia is the way the pitching has held up. The starting form has been excellent overall this season, and that gives them a real edge against a Royals team that has had trouble creating consistent pressure at the plate. Even when the Phillies have had offensive dry spells, they have still been able to lean on a much more stable pitching foundation than a lot of teams on the board. Kansas City, by contrast, has had a brutal season. They are well below .500, they are not trending in the right direction, and they have not given bettors many reasons to trust them in these spots. Their overall record and recent form both point in the same direction. This is a team struggling to find answers. The biggest issue for Kansas City is that both the offense and the bullpen have been unreliable. That combination is usually a red flag when you are trying to back a home underdog against a better team. It means they have to play nearly perfect baseball just to keep things competitive, and that is not a spot I want to force. Philadelphia is not flawless, but they are the much better team in this matchup. They have the stronger overall season, the better road profile, and the more believable path to controlling the game. Kansas City just has too many problems right now to inspire confidence. My lean is Phillies moneyline. Next, New York going to Tampa Bay. This is a very interesting division matchup because the Rays are currently sitting on top of the AL East while the Yankees are trying to recover from a terrible stretch. That alone tells you how different these two teams feel right now. Tampa Bay has the steadier setup, while New York has been dealing with a long run of poor results and a roster that has taken a hit from injuries. The Yankees still have enough overall season-long production to look dangerous on paper, but that has not translated into recent results. They have been slumping hard, and that is exactly the kind of situation where the market can still overrate them because of the name. The problem is that recent form matters, and right now they are not playing like a team I want to back with confidence. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, is showing the kind of home dominance that makes them very tough to fade. Their home record has been excellent, and that kind of consistency is exactly what gives a favorite value in a spot like this. They may not always be loud offensively, but they are getting the job done at home in a way that creates real betting trust. The total is low, which makes sense given the recent offensive profile of both teams. That said, the better angle for me is the side. Tampa Bay has the cleaner current shape, the stronger home edge, and the more reliable overall setup. New York's recent slide and injury situation make them hard to trust in this environment. My play is Rays moneyline. Next up, Houston and Washington. Houston comes in with a strong season in the mix, but they are not exactly rolling into this game with full momentum. They have been good enough to stay relevant, but the recent consistency has not been perfect, and that opens the door a little more for Washington than the market might suggest. Washington is one of those teams that has been quietly very dangerous offensively. They sit near the top of the league in scoring and slugging, and that gives them a real chance to create pressure in almost any matchup. When you combine that with a home setting and a total of 10, it is hard not to pay attention to the over. Neither bullpen profile is especially comforting, and that matters a lot in a game like this. If both starters can be pushed even a little bit, the late innings can get messy quickly. That is exactly the kind of situation where a total can climb fast and where the better side is not necessarily the one that needs to win a low-scoring game. Houston still has the stronger overall reputation, but Washington has the better offensive rhythm and the kind of home profile that can keep them in the fight. This is more of a scoring game look than a side you want to overcommit to. My best pick is over 9.5 runs. Now to New York and Atlanta. This series has already shown a lot of volatility, and that matters because it tells us the matchup is not a simple one. Even with Atlanta being the more stable team overall, the game script can still get messy if the offense is not sharp and if the earlier chaos in the series carries over. The Mets have had a very tough year offensively. That has been one of the biggest reasons they have struggled to get where they want to be, and it is hard to trust a team like that in a road spot unless everything lines up perfectly. Their bullpen has been stronger than the offense, but that only goes so far when the scoring side is this inconsistent. Atlanta has the better home profile and the more complete season-long shape. They are scoring better, they are in a better position in the standings, and they have the kind of overall balance that usually makes a team more trustworthy. Even after a strange game in the series, I still prefer Atlanta because the broader picture is much better. The under has some trend support based on home and road splits, but I do not love forcing it after what has already happened in this series. The cleaner read is the Braves side because they have the stronger team identity and the more reliable overall structure. My lean is Braves moneyline. Now to Milwaukee and St. Louis. This is one of the more interesting series on the slate because both teams have been pretty solid in different ways. Milwaukee has the stronger overall season profile and the better road record, which makes them a very dangerous team to fade. They also have one of the best bullpen setups in the league, and that is a major asset in a tight game. St. Louis has been more inconsistent, but they are not a team you can ignore either. They have been hitting the ball better recently, and they have shown enough at home to stay live. This feels like one of those games where the numbers are tight enough that the side is hard to separate from the total. What makes this matchup tricky is that both teams have enough quality to keep it close, but neither side feels clean enough for a huge conviction play. Milwaukee has the better season-long standing, but St. Louis at home keeps this from being simple. That is why this one feels like a stay away rather than something to force into the card. If I had to lean, I would give the smallest possible edge to Milwaukee because of the better overall team profile and the stronger relief structure. But this is not a game I would try to build around. Next, Arizona heading to San Diego. This is another game where both teams are below their usual expectations, and that makes the betting angle very important. Arizona has not been the offensive force people are used to seeing, and that has changed the way this team is viewed in the market. They are still dangerous enough to be respected, but they are not as explosive as in prior seasons. San Diego has had an even rougher time in terms of offense. Their numbers have been one of the biggest problems on the board, and that is hard to overlook. Even with a decent bullpen profile, a team that struggles that much at the plate is always going to be more fragile in a close game. That is why the under becomes interesting here. Both teams are not exactly producing at a high level, and the total is high enough that a lower scoring game makes sense. When you combine shaky offensive production with solid relief expectations, that's usually where the under can have some life. The side is more difficult. Arizona has plus money potential, but the cleaner play is the total because the game shape points toward limited scoring more than a clear winner. My fifth play is under 9. Now to Toronto and San Francisco. This is a matchup between two teams that have both had disappointing seasons, and that usually creates a very specific betting environment. The Blue Jays have not been producing enough offensively, and that has kept them from building real momentum even when their pitching has done its part. Their bullpen has been a relative positive, but the offense has been the major concern. San Francisco is in a similar position. Their season has not gone the way they hoped, and their recent form has not provided much encouragement. When a team is struggling both at the plate and in the standings, it becomes difficult to trust them as a favorite. Because neither team has been reliable offensively, the under becomes a natural look. That said, I do think Toronto has a little more appeal on the side because of the better pitching stability and the plus money value. But if I'm choosing the better play, it's the game total. My play is under 8 runs. Last one, Colorado and Los Angeles. This is the biggest mismatch on the board from a season-long perspective. The Dodgers have been the best offensive team in baseball and one of the best home teams in the league. Their overall profile is just miles ahead of Colorado, and that is why they are priced the way they are here. Colorado has had one clear bright spot this season, and that is the offense. They have been much better at the plate than most people would expect, and that has kept them competitive in spots that would otherwise be impossible. But the pitching side remains a major issue, and that is exactly what makes a game against the Dodgers such a tough ask. Los Angeles has enough firepower to win even when the pitching is not perfect, and that is what makes them so dangerous. Their home record is strong, their overall scoring numbers are elite, and they are very hard to fade when they are facing a team that is this limited on the mound. The only real question is whether you want to lay the number or just take the straight money line. For me, the cleanest answer is the Dodgers side. They are simply too strong in this matchup to pass up. My best pick is Dodgers money line. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with somebody who's betting these games tonight. It really helps the channel grow, and it makes a huge difference in helping me keep these daily picks and breakdowns coming for you. I appreciate every bit of support, and it means a lot to keep building this with you all. I'll be back with more picks, more breakdowns, and more value in the next one, so make sure you stay tuned. Catch you in the next video.